Brewtifully made. Happy Friday. I am so super excited because I have my first guest on the program today, and she is a dear, sweet friend that I have got to know through a creative endeavor. So I'm going to share all about that. But a little housekeeping. We are doodling today, and we are going to follow Elo Lovey's prompts again, and it is a playing card. So that is the prompt for today, and I'm excited to draw something fun. And I know my lovely guest, Kari Gray-Hoff, is with me today. Hello, Kari.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is fun.
I know it's very fun. This is exciting because Kari and I met through the Windowsill Chat Studio shared sessions. That was a mastermind that we both signed up for with Margot Tanto. So, Kari, I want to have you share a little bit about your creative history and what led you to sign up for that class.
Well, let's see. I studied graphic design in college, and when I got out, there weren't a lot of great jobs. And so I ended up going to work for, at the time, what was a little startup. I went to work for Starbucks, and I was basically just do anything that they told me to do. But I did all the store signage, and I did marketing and helped with all that kind of stuff. But I've always been creative. My family's super creative. My mother has always done everything from scratch. And so a couple years ago, long story short, I got out of the corporate world and decided I wanted to get back into being creative and drawing and painting and all that good stuff. And so in the spring of last year, I did Bonnie Christine's immersion and learned Adobe and have started doing pattern design, and which I love because one of my favorite jobs in my career was managing textiles for a retailer. And so having a lot of fun with that, but still learning and growing and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And I'm going to just preface this entire conversation that Kari is super, super humble, but unbelievably talented.
You're very kind.
Her sketchbooks and her studio is just fabulous. And we are going to share social media that she has and images of things that she's created. And you're going to be blown away because Kari's based in Kansas City. And this conversation is going to surround how do you get your artwork and your creative endeavors out into your community. And I've been doing that a lot here. And so the more that we talk between one another, that topic just kept coming up. And so that's what our conversation is going to be around today because Kari's work needs to be in your home, like she said, with the textiles and the wallpaper.
That's
And
very funny.
it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. Again, she is so humble, but it is just fabulous. And so I love that this is what you want to talk about, Kari, because I want to see all of your work in everybody's homes, not just in your area, but all over.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I moved to Kansas City just almost 6 years ago for work. And I think everybody knows when you're working full time, it's sometimes hard to meet people outside your sphere. And then the pandemic hit, and we all know what that did in terms of connection and community. And so this is a topic. Teresa, you're so inspiring because
Oh.
I'm so blown away by the impact you have on your community and the connections you've made. And so to have this conversation just means so much to me. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. And it's so funny because Kari, the more we talk and learn about like what we've done, our paths have been down the same way. Like I took Bonnie's class too. I was in the immersion program and I just loved that. And I wanted to do more with surface pattern design. And I've been on Spoonflower for like 11 years. And that was
That's
my
crazy.
first like jump into it, not knowing like how to do it, just really just tackling it on my own. So it was great to have that guidance. And then we got to personally meet at Art Biz Jam because I went and it was in Kansas City. And that was so much fun. We had such a blast.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh gosh. And I love that that's in your community because then you got to visit a manufacturer and get a little insight on what they're doing and how they work with artists. And you've already had that in your like back pocket. Like you said, you've worked with different product development and things like that. So I love that you're kind of rein this in and coming into the community. And I think the first thing you have to do is identify those people or organizations or businesses. And so how have you started that in your location? Have you got to reach out to anybody?
Yeah, a couple years ago, when I was really feeling the tug to get back to kind of my painting, drawing, creative roots, before I quit working, and I reached out to a couple artists here in Kansas City, again through Margot's windowsill chats. One of them was interviewed, and so I was like, "Oh, she's in Kansas City. I'm going to call her." And and so I called them, and we got together and we met. But it's again, it's people are so busy and they have their
I know.
lives, they have their connections. And so I have found it challenging to kind of keep that going. But through Art Biz Jam, I've met other artists. But so you inspired me. So I signed up for two artist groups here, one based on the Kansas side. I don't know if people don't know, Kansas City is split down the middle by State Line Road. So half of it kind of is in Missouri and half of it is in Kansas. So I signed up for two artist groups, coalitions,
Yeah.
that have community events and classes. And so I'm super excited about that. I signed up for a free photographing your artwork class
Nice.
through one of them, which is something that baffles me, learning the technology. Because, when I went to college, we didn't have all this stuff.
I know. I'm right there with you.
Everything was hand lettered and hand cut out with the X-Acto blade. I'm really good at that. So, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm starting. It's just making those connections and trying to go to their events and things like that, and continuing to try and meet other artists here in the area.
Yeah, and I think that Kansas City, when I visited, seemed like a very art progressive location. And
Mhm.
there, I mean, I made you go to the library because I
Oh,
was
that
like,
was
I saw that.
I didn't even, I mean, this is me. I'm terrible. I didn't even know that library was there. That was so fun. So
I
fun.
know, I know,
Yeah.
because it was on books and I had
And it
seen
was
it
a
on social
beautiful
media. I'm
day.
like, I have to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. That was a good one.
And that's what's so neat is if you kind of step back and take a look at your community as a tourist through tourist eyes
Yeah. That's a good.
and get to explore those locations, those organizations love when you bring your enthusiasm and your passion to them, and then that generates other people's interest because not the only one that doesn't know that that was there, you know? And so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
awareness is huge. And I think being involved with like a local chamber or other small business community events that you can bring your art into a different way to create awareness in your community are great ways. I love the art organizations and the collaborations that the artists have, but also thinking outside of the box and
Mhm.
attending farmers markets or maybe
Yeah.
attending my daughter has the best results going to these PTO craft shows. She sells
PTO.
like $1,000 to $3,000 worth of pottery at these school craft shows. Can you believe that?
Oh.
Yeah, she'll create things and take them to these, like, small
Huh.
communities craft show this is
So,
Seattle. This is Seattle.
yeah.
Seattle's
Yeah.
huge, but they're always looking for artists to sell things, and down to that little niche, I was blown away when she told me that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
For sure.
looking at those kind of little markets just to get your
Holiday
name
markets
out
and stuff. Yeah.
holiday markets are huge, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you're going down the right direction, getting
Yeah.
involved with those collaborations, but also I know that your pieces, the ones that we have looked through in your lookbooks and your sketchbooks are perfect for the building industry with those decorators and anybody that has showrooms with beautiful fabrics, custom When you can create custom pieces for a homeowner, getting involved with like a BIA, a Building Industry Association,
Oh, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
your interior designers and
Yeah.
things like that. Again, thinking outside of that box and talking to them directly because your
Yeah.
pieces are just beautiful for that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I have thought about, talking to individual designers and coming up with kind of a schedule of how the services,
Yeah.
to offer and stuff like that. So, yeah, and local community. We've got such a great little neighborhood here and kind of a busy community. And so I have not reached out to them. So that is a good one too, to get it on my list to reach out and see if they have anything going on. I'm sure they do. There's always something going on.
Yeah, yeah, and especially if you have a rotary. I mean, I know we have a couple of those around here
Yeah.
too. They sound
Yeah.
old-fashioned, but they're still
No,
there,
no,
they're
yeah,
still vibrant and
yeah,
part of the
community
business
groups.
community.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, those are great ideas, and I know that's what that you're thinking about. It's hard as an artist. You're creating, but then you have to market yourself, and then you have to reach out. I mean, it's like you're this
Yeah.
one-woman show. It's a lot of work. It really is. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Trying to keep it all going. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
I work full time and that's really hard. I mean, I can't wait till one
Yeah.
day do this full time.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. We're
Uh,
cheering on that.
that's the
You
goal.
do.
So it's funny because I went to an art class this weekend. It was a hand lettering class, and she's a photographer and she has a studio. And then the, I guess, ebb and flow of her studio sessions, she holds classes with all different artists. And this is wonderful. So if you can find a location to host like community meetings or workshops and share your knowledge, that's huge. People want to learn. I know I love learning. I
Yeah.
love to
Yeah, I do
continuously
too.
learn something.
I feel like I don't know that I can teach though, because I feel like I'm not sure I'm a teacher.
Well, start
Scary.
with one of those artists that you spoke with, bring
Yeah.
them in and create a studio atmosphere. I mean, you have a beautiful studio. So if your husband's open and your family's open and to let you, do that, you could do that there,
Well,
or
see,
you
my
could
husband,
find a spot.
yeah, my husband will do anything for me. So I'm very blessed.
But you could have a whole slew of classes and to have
Yeah.
visiting artists come and learn their processes and how they're doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what helps generate those ideas, and then you're gonna say, "Oh, well, maybe I can show somebody how to create something for a card." Just start with cards or
Yeah.
start with something, okay, Kari, you shared your gifts for your grands and your family at
Oh,
Christmas. They were beautiful. If
he was
you had a class on how to make that memory game, people would eat that up.
yeah, that was a fun little thing to
Yeah.
make for him.
Yeah,
So
but there is a market for that.
yeah, that's
People
a good
would
idea.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I once I did for my team at work, we had a cookie decorating party during the holidays. That was our holiday party. I baked a bunch of cookies and everybody decorated cookies, so that was kind of
See,
fun.
I love that. And I know we've talked about looking
Yeah.
at
So
nonprofits in the area, and I know that you said that you and your family are part of some or interested in joining some nonprofits. And so getting some art together for maybe they're having a fundraiser or an auction. I've done that. I usually try to pick 2 to 4 a year and support, and that's been huge because
yeah,
I love
yeah,
being able to participate, and I feel like I'm giving back with my time and talent, and then I actually have had, commissions after that, and
yeah. I love
surprisingly.
that idea. We have my husband and I support a local nonprofit that supports foster kids in our area.
Oh.
And so I got all excited when after you and I kind of chatted and got all excited about, oh, I could do a call for artists and a call for submissions, and we could have a garden party in our backyard and hang all the art in the porch. And
There you go. That oh my gosh, that would be phenomenal. Oh my gosh, they
yeah,
would love
yeah,
that. They would probably flip out if they heard you'd want to do that for them.
yeah. So I don't know. I love to entertain. I love to cook. At one point in time, my daughter and I had a little business together, doing gourmet food. And so I love to, to put things like that together and make people feel welcome. And so what better than to add art to that, right?
I
So
know, that's perfect. See, you've already got, like, this whole skeleton built
yeah, I
around
just have
that.
to fit that into my schedule and trying to launch my
Wow.
business and do that. So again, I'm gonna follow your hours and be up at 5 in the morning and
I I don't want you falling over tired, but you know what? You get used to it after a while. I
yeah,
get
you
these like
do.
bursts of energy. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
I can work in these quiet moments when nobody else is
Yes,
like bothering me and talking to me.
that is the best. Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
just stay hydrated. That's my lesson here. Stay hydrated.
definitely, definitely. And we're gonna have to sneak a little plug in for your daughter, Kat Beautiful TikTok because talk
Oh,
about an amazing cook, and she is an RN, and just I had to follow her as soon as we met, and she's
yeah.
phenomenal too. So you do have such a talented family, and I just
Oh,
love it.
thank you.
Oh gosh. So I love that you're looking at building a network that is in your community and varying the kinds of creative contacts. I think that it helps diversify
Yeah.
your, avenues of like where your art can fit in. And you have that experience and that knowledge of putting it towards marketing and putting it towards a business or putting it towards, helping. And I think that that is really important to share. So as you're building your maybe your website or your portfolio online, showing this is how it applies to you and this is how I can help you by being creative. And it could be a homeowner, it can be a business, it could be a real estate agent, it could be
Mhm.
a interior designer. Thinking outside of I just want to sell this painting I made because I
Right.
think artists get stuck in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I was in my studio yesterday and kind of it was a down day for me and I just was trying to be quiet and creating and I was working on something and I had to keep reminding myself that there are no right and wrongs, right? In
Yeah.
art.
Right.
And that there's a place for everything. And, we all suffer that like, oh, my stuff's not good enough to put out there. Tracy, you know that
Oh,
I am not very good at or very consistent at sharing on Instagram. So if anybody goes to my Instagram, there's not very much there. But I'm working on it. But my site is has some of my work on it. But it's trying to continue that and to share and create connections. You know what they say, to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And that's,
yeah.
it takes a lot of energy. And I think you are a role model for that, how you are so supportive of other artists that I mean me and our friend Brenda and
Oh.
just you're always there to say, oh, this is fabulous or do this or if everybody doesn't know Tracy's a computer whiz too. So I'm like text you help.
Oh,
Let's
oh
have the
my gosh.
simplest answers.
I swear. No, Kari, you work with both sides of your brain too. She's helping me with spreadsheets and how to organize my store and like what to do with wholesale. And
Um,
trust me, this is
Village,
what,
right?
oh my gosh, it has just been a fabulous collaboration and group that we were in for this mastermind and just how everybody helps everyone. And you're just making my heart burst. I just love you. You're so sweet. I just have never had this kind of collaboration with artists ever before. I've tried for 23 years to break into this community, and
Yeah,
I've supported people downtown and the little galleries, and it just takes time. And
it
don't
does.
beat
Yeah,
yourself up over the consistency of social media. Don't let that be a
yeah,
deterrent. Don't be like,
yeah.
I haven't posted in a month and I feel crazy putting this on here. Do it. Who cares?
I know.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to continue to do it. So
It's a
yeah.
lot of work
It is. It's
again.
a lot of work to do that. And as you said, as artists who work for ourselves, you know, even if it's not monetized, it's still so much effort
Yeah.
to get out in front and make those connections because like you, a lot of people I know and some of the artists that I have met here, they hold down full-time jobs,
Yeah.
right? And they have families and they have community commitments. And so I know how it feels to like sometimes you're like, I just can't add one more thing to my schedule, you know.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend the other day and she had friends in town and she's like, I'm so tired. I can't, they're in town, they're all over, but should I go? I'm so tired, you know, and I get that. I know how that feels. And so
Yeah.
I think you're right, just being consistent and trying to reach out to different groups and people and showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. It is hard. But I think your talent of organization, if you take that and build out a 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 12-month view of these are a little bit of my goals
Yeah.
and these are people I want to talk to. And this is, maybe you want to concentrate on different industries in those little segments, breaking it down. I do that a lot. I write down a lot of things and try
Yeah.
to make a plan. And that's, I love being spontaneous with my art, but with the whole side of trying to keep the connections, I have to document it. I have to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
checklists and things like that. And you're
Yeah. I
very
do
good at
too.
that, Kari. You're
I'm a
so
list
good at that.
maker. I'm a list maker. Yes.
I am too. And it takes somebody's other eyes looking at something going, oh, I didn't look at it like that. And you've helped
Yeah.
me do that. And that's something that we don't apply to our art, our creative side sometimes,
Right.
but it does help.
Yeah.
And
Work
like
on
you
both
said, you get
sides.
all those ideas going in your head and like, I've got to organize this.
Put
And
it
so I
down.
know that kind of goes towards like doing something on a regular basis and the idea that you'd like to host that nonprofit and, contacting different organizations. I think that doing it around seasons or doing them around maybe themes, I'm sure your community has things that are going on that have different, I guess, initiatives. So taking a broader look at that in your community and working around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah. Different schools and stuff too, maybe. So, huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to look into the local craft show thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have an organization here called 720 Market, and they're curated juried show not juried, but curated shows,
Yeah.
so there's not a lot of repetition, and
Yeah.
there's not a lot of, like, everything's pretty much handmade, but it's so much fun, and they're held in different places,
Yeah.
and so that's something I wish I knew Kansas City better to say, like, "Contact this person." I don't have those connections, but I know
Yeah.
that, once you start looking in that
Yeah.
arena, I'm sure you'll
Yeah.
find it.
Those are good ideas of places to look. Yeah.
Yeah. And this podcast, and I mean, this is just one way that I could think of talking to people like you, celebrating people I'm meeting, and really just getting some of these thoughts out of my head that I know I'm not the only one that's dealing with them or have them the imposter syndrome that you were
Right.
talking about, that was a podcast episode. I mean, we are all
Yeah.
dealing with it, and I have felt so alone for so long thinking this is just me, and I'm
Right.
realizing it's not. So that's
Yeah.
what this was for.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is so helpful when you realize that you're not alone.
Yeah,
Um that others feel this way and just you saying that it took you so long to break into your community, again, full-time job and family and I know
yeah.
you're relatively new to Canton, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here 23 years,
Oh,
Kari,
you've
it's
been here
take
20. You've
yeah,
been here
yeah,
20. I was thinking it
but
was shorter than that, but still, it
yeah,
takes so yeah, so there you go. It takes a
because
while. I mean,
'cause
I
I'm that person that you spoke about, the full-time working artist.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it doesn't help when you when you when you're like, oh, I can't. I'm not ready. That's me. I'm not ready to put it out there yet. I just need to tweak it a little bit more. I'm not ready to put it out there yet.
Yeah,
So
and that's not true.
yeah,
It's that perfectionism that we have in the back of our minds that we've been taught or we've
yeah,
heard or we've
yeah,
learned. And I deal with that too. And the older I get, the more I'm like, you know what? This is where I'm at and I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
Sharing the processes of how you do something is fascinating to people. They
Mm-hmm.
want to see how
Yes.
you do stuff. And
Yeah.
so start sharing. I mean, you don't even have to be on camera, just your hands. And it doesn't have to be like a half an hour video. 10 seconds of what you're doing, or like what ink you're using, what paint you're using, the
Yeah.
pens that you're using, the paper that you're using. It helps others come out of their shell because
Well,
they're just as scared.
you're so right. Those are my favorite ones to watch,
I
right?
know.
I gotta write down that, that color of
Mhm.
gouache, like
Yeah,
I do that all the time. I have so many things saved on my Instagram because
I
it's
know.
art supplies. Yeah, like I need more art supplies, but
I'm the same way though. I joked in podcast episodes past that like I wouldn't use gouache because I didn't know how to say it and I didn't want to go to the store and ask. I mean, I did until I like learned this is how you say this and this is what it does. And I mean, I put it on I think a canvas once and it peeled right off. I'm like, what do you mean this doesn't stick? What did I do wrong? You just need to share your processes so other people can learn from you.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I think, it goes back to that opening up, and being willing to be vulnerable
Yep.
and,
The whole Brene Brown syndrome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was reading a thing this morning, somebody posted about Brene Brown and
Yeah, yeah. If she hasn't empowered women in the last few years, I don't know who else.
yeah,
I mean
yeah,
it because it does make you stop and think. And if it's not now, when are you going to do it? If it's
right.
not you, who's it going to be? There's no reason it can't be you. There's no reason why you shouldn't try to put your stuff out there.
Yeah,
You know, design your wallpaper, order some samples, and let's see what it looks like, and put it on a wall. And this is how, I can create this, and just it's not going to hurt a thing. You're trying just like everybody else is, but you're inspiring at the same time because you're being fearless. And I know you got that in you. Yeah, I don't know why you're scared to share your stuff. It's gorgeous. There's no negativity that could deter you. And that's what
I
you got to keep in the back of your mind.
well, yeah. And it's so funny because like I said, when I was doing this,
Yes.
right, I was like, there's no right or wrong in art. It's
No.
just art. So whatever comes out of you at that moment is what it is.
Right. I love when people were like, learn the rules and then break them. Why?
Yeah.
Create your own rule.
Right.
It's your creativity. It
Right.
doesn't matter, if this is not a parallel line that's perfectly straight that you didn't do on Procreate and hold the pen down so it snaps to straight. That's what makes it beautiful, the wonkiness and
Of
the
it. Yeah.
handness of it, you know?
Yeah. 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 It's embracing that because I think we all see in our mind the way we want something to turn out. And if it doesn't turn out exactly like you had envisioned it, then it's
Mhm.
not good. That's
Right.
where I go. It's not good.
I'm the
It's
same
time
way.
to start over. And or if it doesn't look like if you're taking a class and it doesn't look like that instructors or other artists
Gosh.
style, then you didn't do it right. But there's
Right.
no yeah, and that's where I'm starting to come to, and that's why I love your attitude of, "I'm just gonna do it." Like, I don't care what people think. And,
Well,
you talk about Catherine with her TikTok, and I think I've told you this, it's like, you can't pay attention to the people that make negative, crazy comments.
no,
Just can't,
no.
because
Mm-mm.
there's gonna be those people out there that just wanna be heard for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
because they're not out there making it.
Yeah, and so there's gonna be crazy negative comments, and you just have to ignore those, and you're not doing it to be liked, you're doing it because you have a passion for it, so
Right.
I have to pep talk myself all the time.
Yeah, you're good at talking to other people, and then you've got to start listening to yourself.
I
And
know.
you've said that. You know that that's true.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And it's hard. It's hard to be that for yourself. Because I deal with the same things that I'm
Yeah.
like trying to tell you. I'm like, oh, this isn't
Well,
good enough, or this
I
doesn't look exactly like this. It's
that's why I just cherish you because you're that mirror that says, "Hey, you look, you're fine. You do this. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So those, those valuable friendships and connections are just, just,
Priceless.
yeah, totally priceless. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I just am just shocked about the path that our lives take to find those,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you'll find that in your community. I know that once you start venturing out and making those connections and people realize your talent, it's gonna speed up and come quickly. And I know you'll be prepared for it, but it gets overwhelming.
yeah,
It does
yeah,
get to like then they see that you're helping with a nonprofit and then you get bombarded with 10
yeah,
requests and you're like, I can't do all of those or I
yeah.
have to
You
say
do
no.
everything. Yeah,
And please say no. Do not overwhelm yourself. Do not get so, buried where you're saying, and I'm very bad about that. And I am
I'm
telling you
just
that
gonna say,
because
do you
I'm learned
know?
it's hard to I've had to say
All
no.
your
I've
own.
sent I've had to say no a couple times this year because there were quotes that I had put out for jobs 2 years ago, two and a
Mm,
half years ago, and
yeah,
they're coming back to me now saying, I want to do this. And I'm like,
yeah,
I can't do it for that price, or I
right.
don't have time to do that because I said this would be done in a week and I have things now.
Yeah,
And, I'm
it's hard.
sorry, so
Yeah,
people are like, start putting expiration dates on your quotes. I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to. I didn't think of that.
that's a good idea.
Again, another
Yeah,
learning thing that has happened organically because it just didn't even dawn on me that they would hold on to it and then come back and want to do it 2 years
yeah,
later.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's hard. And then they come back and they want it then they want to negotiate. It's like,
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I'm like, you know what? This is a sign. I don't want to do this.
right, right. Well, good for
And
you because that is hard. Yeah, to
mhm.
walk away. My husband's in construction and he's had some, home owners want stuff
Yes.
and he talks to me about some of the things and I'm like, walk away. Say
Right.
no.
Yeah.
Say no, thank you. Too
Mhm.
busy right now. Yeah. So,
You have to. That's
yeah.
another hard lesson to learn,
Yeah.
but another difficult thing to stand by. It's just good for your mental health, though. You
Yeah.
really, don't beat yourself up over it. And it's,
No, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your mission and ethos and all of that. And yeah,
right.
you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But
I know. And surround yourself with people that you can get true, good feedback. Like I
yeah.
could ask my mom how something looks and she'll tell me everything looks great. That
Yeah.
didn't help me. You know, I love her to death. But she also will tell me it doesn't look exactly like it has to be photorealistic for it to be
Oh,
approved. And so I've
oh,
learned my lesson, like, okay, I can't because that just messes with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I know you learn, you know who you can go to.
Right.
So, but
Right.
oh, Kari, this has been great. This has been a
Hi.
great discussion. I hope this helps inspire other people. I do want you to share where people can find your work. So,
Okay.
your
So
Instagram or website
yeah.
handles and addresses.
My Instagram is at Kari, Kari Marie, Marie design. And then same website, karimariedesign.com.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that you will post when you feel ready. So no pressure
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
But
And
yeah, start recorded. I've got to help you. She can like help you do some of your process stuff because
yeah.
it is
Yeah.
beautiful. I can't wait to share the card that you've doodled because it is
Yeah.
stunning.
Yeah. Had some fun with that prompt. So that's a good one.
I
Yeah.
know. Well, thank you for being my very first
Oh
guest.
my gosh. I didn't know
Yay!
I was your first.
You
So
are, you are.
real
And all the
honor.
links to your socials and your website will be on the show notes.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So, but I am just so blessed to have met you through Windowsill Chat studio sessions and got to meet you in person and hang out and had a blast. And I hope that happens again because I just love
Yeah.
you so much. You're
We'll
wonderful.
have to plan a meetup.
I know we do. We have to.
That'd be
So,
good. Thanks.
have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me.
You too.
And
Bye.
keep me informed on how those community connections are going.
I will. Yes. I'm
You-
going to share on social. Ha.
yes.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.